There's a seemingly never-ending list of things you can do to get natural dry eye relief. I've made tip videos about it, as have lots of other docs on YouTube, but I recently realized something. Nobody has made a video yet about why a natural eye care routine and natural products are such a big part of managing your dry eye syndrome. And so in today's video, I'll cover the most recent natural treatment options and explain why it's critical to understand how to methodically choose your treatments and stack them effectively, rather than just trying any new treatment you see a commercial for or combining treatments while uninformed of underlying systemic problems. Welcome back to Eye School with me, Dr. D, where I teach you about products and treatments related to dry eye syndrome and eye beauty so you can have healthy, beautiful, comfortable eyes. And make sure to give a little love tap on the subscribe button over there to stay up to date with all the latest eye tips and tricks I have for you. Thank you to iLove for sponsoring this video today. All content is mine and recommendations are what I would tell you to do anyway. All right, so first I'm going to spend some time, just stay with me. I want to talk to you about TFOS DEWS. So TFOS is the Tear Film and Ocular Surface Society, and DEWS is their dry eye workshop report. And they created an algorithm for the treatment of dry eye, and this is the algorithm I'm personally most familiar with. And there's a few, but most optometrists and dry eye specialists are using the DEWS report. In the DEWS algorithm, there are 4 steps to treating dry eye that systematically elevate your treatment as it gets worse, right? So in early stages of dry eye, you're going to find relief from symptoms by using the guidance in step 1. However, later in the disease, or depending on the presence of systemic illness as well, you might benefit from the more elevated treatments from the beginning. But the DEWS algorithm really tells us it's important to develop the good treatment habits that they tell us about in step 1. Even if your disease is severe, continuing to keep good dietary habits, using artificial tears, warm compresses, and being mindful of medications is really important. In step 1 of dry eye therapy, it's important to educate about the condition, modify a patient's local environment, make dietary modifications, identify and eliminate systemic issues, identify and eliminate topical medications that are contributing, look at using an ocular lubricant like an artificial tear, and talk to patients about lid hygiene and scrubs. I like the products by iLove. They have eye safe makeup remover, cleansers specifically designed for blepharitis that are developed by optometrists and they're eye safe. And they're also a great company that gives back. And finally, in the first treatment algorithm, there's warm compresses. Again, there's a really great option for warm compresses to use daily, made by the Dr. Ziegler at Hydrate. So it's not until later in steps 3 and 4 that prescription options, in-office treatments, and surgical options are presented, meaning there's a lot of natural options that can and should be used prior to intervening in different ways. I do recommend working through all the steps with the help of your dry eye specialist eye doctor, but it's helpful in my opinion to see this algorithm and get an idea of what you've already done and what areas could use more exploration. So I'll attach the steps here. All right, so in terms of natural dry eye relief tips, let's first talk about vitamin A eye drops or gels. These have been used successfully for natural dry eye relief. Often when doctors are recommending it, people find out about retinol and how it can make dry eye worse. So let's demystify that confusion and give you the most recent understanding of the use of vitamin A around the eye. So the presence of oxygen-free radicals in the tears of patients with dry eye disease has resulted in exploration of the potential application of antioxidants for the management of dry eye disease. So vitamin A is an antioxidant, and it makes a whole lot of sense to try to use it for dry eye. And indeed, it shows a significant effect in improving blurred vision, tear breakup time, Schirmer score, which is production of tears, and even impression cytology findings in patients with dry eye disease in one study. What this means in plain English is that vitamin A is really good for the corneal and conjunctival cells, and it does help dry eyes from that perspective. The challenge is that vitamin A can also be really tough on the meibomian glands, which are pretty critical for preventing dry eye as well. So deciding whether or not to use vitamin A is one of those natural remedies that I don't recommend starting on your own without the opinion of your eye doctor. In my dry eye clinic, I do imaging on my patients' meibomian glands because up to 86% of people with dry eye syndrome have some meibomian gland dysfunction. function. Many of my patients for whom we would be considering vitamin A, if they have meibomian gland dysfunction, it's important to not disrupt those glands and cause bigger issues. We still don't really know how much vitamin A or retinol for that matter can be tolerated by the glands without causing damage. So in general on this channel, I just advise against using it around the eyes. However, if your doctor has advised it, then there's a reason. Just know that it's important to monitor and not stay on it for too long. So next we're going to get into another natural therapy, which is just a focus on your diet. Now, diet has heavy connotations for some people, and I understand just the word can kind of shut people down. I want to make clear that thinking of this like a diet is an unhelpful mindset around this important information. Food does have the ability to cause inflammation, and food does have the ability to heal inflammation. So yes, it can cause inflammation and it can heal it, period. So let's consider slowly changing your habits and choosing foods that heal instead of inflame. And this is just a positive self-care kind of tip. Making one small good choice per day can make a measurable impact on the state of your dry eye. If any one of these suggestions sounds like, oh yes, that's definitely something I can do, then just start there and work towards making that a habit. Then add your good habits slowly. Changing everything at once is not sustainable for everyone. There are those of you out there who are very successful at changing your entire diet at once, and those who are not, like myself. So it's always important to consult your doctor and consider your own habits and tendencies when making changes in your diet. Now, the next natural way to help your dry eye is pretty simple, and that's drinking plenty of water. Half your body weight in ounces. Make sure to get it consistently throughout the day. If you can work out first thing, then start your water intake. You'll have started your day in a wonderful way. Another easy one is reducing or avoiding caffeine intake. Often paired with sugars and daily, caffeine does not necessarily dehydrate you itself, but it's not usually in the healthiest drinks. You can also avoid and reduce alcohol intake, which does have a dehydrating effect and is also often paired with sugars. Diet-wise, another good one to get more of are omega-3s, which can be found in mackerel, herring, cod liver oil, oysters, walnuts, flaxseed, chia seed, omega-3 enriched eggs. It's hard to get enough omega-3s, so I would consider taking an omega-3 supplement as well. The best omega-3 supplements have more EPA than DHA and are of a re-esterified triglyceride formula. DE3 by PRN is one of the best out there, and I've always been a fan of the Nordic Naturals formulations as well. You can look to get vitamin A through your food in liver, grass-fed butter, egg yolk, pasteurized eggs, and leafy greens. And it's also important to decrease your omega-6, so vegetable oils, snack foods, cookies, crackers, fatty chicken, and beef cuts are going to have a lot of omega-6. It's also possible to have a gluten allergy, and gluten has been linked to rosacea, which contributes to dry eye and meibomian gland dysfunction. Overall, it's best to eliminate all possible allergens, so you may consider eliminating gluten and tracking your symptoms. Remember, dietary changes should be a foundational step in your dry eye treatment journey. Most patients will also require other things like warm compresses, lid cleansing, and artificial tears to help maintain their symptoms. So let's talk about another natural home remedy, castor oil. I've long been in the camp that castor oil is pretty darn good at moisturizing the eye and not bad as a dry eye treatment. Recently, castor oil has found application within commercial ophthalmic eye drop preparations as well, proving effective in counteracting tear film lipid insufficiency and tear film instability, and even showing potential in managing dry eye disease secondary to MGD or meibomian gland dysfunction without having a lot of side effects. Castor oil also has antimicrobial and antioxidant properties which have implications for the management of blepharitis and dry eye. There's expanding literature on the safety and efficacy of castor oil, supporting its evidence of use, but castor oil is actually somewhat controversial. There are definitely some eye doctors and folks in the eye care space that believe that it is not the best thing to use. I think that this is probably pretty patient specific, but there have been no definitive studies saying that it is harmful, so if castor oil is something that works for you, I think that that's definitely fine to consider. So a lot of dry eye disease will occur secondary to lid disorders like blepharitis, meibomian gland dysfunction, function, and it's really important to manage what's going on the lid to help your dry eye. There's beneficial effects on the lipid layer of the tears, your tear film integrity itself, your eyelash health, and your meibomian gland functionality by using castor oil and by cleansing the lids really well and keeping them clean. Another home remedy is manuka honey. So manuka honey is a type of honey native to New Zealand. It's produced by bees that pollinate the flower Leptospermum scoparium, commonly known as the manuka bush, thus the name. Manuka honey's antibacterial properties are said to set it apart from traditional honey. Its active ingredient is methylglyoxal, and it's likely responsible for those antibacterial effects. It's also antiviral, anti-inflammatory, and has antioxidant benefits as well. And it's been traditionally used for wound healing, soothing sore throats, preventing tooth decay, and improving digestive issues. So one company has a commercial preparation of manuka honey called Optimal. It comes in both eye drops and an ointment type of formula, and each can be applied directly to the eye or eyelids on a daily basis to help with Demodex mites, lids that have a large amount of blepharitis or biofilms on them, and it's definitely one of the natural treatments that you can try as part of your meibomian gland dysfunction care, blepharitis care, and your dry eye care. So let's talk about hot compresses for a moment. This is one of our favorite things to prescribe as optometrists. There are wonderful masks from Hydrate that you can use. I'll show you here. These help dry eyes by opening the oil glands and allowing natural oils to flow back onto the eye, relieving discomfort. These are easy to use, they deliver effective heat treatment to your eyelids, and you can heat the compress for about 10 to 20 seconds depending on your microwave. After testing it on the back of your hand, then you want to leave the compress on your eyelids for as close to 15 minutes as you can. That's going to give you the best chance of the compress working. After the compress is done, I like to tell patients to massage their eyelids, and you can use the Hydrate brand lid wipes, wrap around your finger and massage your eyelids to help facilitate oil flow as well. So I hope all of those tips make you feel a little more empowered to manage your dry eye, whether it's using your diet, over-the-counter artificial tears, understanding the DEWS report a little bit better, or even using some of those over-the-counter options like manuka honey, castor oil, vitamin A, and hot compresses. That is going to be it for today's video. Please make sure to leave me some comments down below about your natural ways to treat dry eye, and make sure to subscribe before you leave. That's going to be it for today's lesson. Eye school is dismissed.